Their whole career here.
Cindy and Heidi have been here.
No, I worked in the.
But if we can make it that way, then that's our goal. But I mean, again, I'm gonna start getting. I don't know if I already told this story. So this one mortgage company I was at for 9 years, I thought of the guy as my brother, or could have been my dad. It was pretty close there. But after 9 years, and I got married and had a kid, I was like, I got to move to India and be with a bigger company and get a base with benefits. I can't do this full commission anymore. And he treated me like a traitor after I gave him 9 years of my life. And then before I left, when his brother-in-law was leaving and interviewing elsewhere, he came to me and said, hey, can I have him call you for the interview? I was the manager, but his brother-in-law was the owner. I was like, yeah, I'll give you great review. Just tell me when you're getting hired, and so I have an idea and I can replace you. And anyway, but he treated everybody like traitors when they left. But I understand that everybody's got to go with what's best for their family, and if this is it and we can make it, great. If not, then we can expect anything but for people to do what's best for them and their family. So I'm on your side for what's best for you. And then if somebody would leave, I usually try to say, what could be better? What stunk here? What did you not like? What made you leave? I mean, pay's one thing, but what else? Give me something to work with, so the next person we can try to lure them to be here longer. So.
Corporate world's just a little bit different than here.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other questions they want to ask? Right here? You have a
I
follow-up?
do, but I don't know if you wanted to ask.
No, go ahead.
I was kind of curious what kind of worker you are as far as, I guess maybe a learning / leadership / style. I mean, are you more likely to like just pick up exactly what like the last person in position was doing and follow all their rules? Or you're more likely to come up with your own procedures and change everything, or like a little column A, a little from column B, or learn what works and then you do your own thing? Or what kind of leader would you be for our testing center? Like, are you gonna just pick up and just maintain the status quo, or are you gonna get up and shake it up and change it and make it your way?
That's not me, the shake-up person. I'm always a person that leans on two types of people, the people above and the people who are doing the work. Because everything I've seen growing up, my dad was in the military, so I watched a lot of military movies. As soon as leadership quits listening to the trenches, that's when the battle starts to turn. Okay? You have to go with your information and the facts from the front lines. And then you feed that information up, and then they can make the decision for what's best for the battle plan or whatever. Like, I'm sure, when they hired, I'm not going to say yay or nay on different things or try to get opinions, but when you hire a new president for a university, he comes in and makes some changes, and people are put in certain positions and start making changes. When you're below those decision makers, all you can do is fall in line and try to help out and share information, and that's just how it is. Or you can leave. I mean, I'm not trying to make anybody leave anything. I'm the type of person that feel like you can train anybody for about any job if they're willing and have a good attitude, but it's more cost effective and better experience wise to keep the family, I use that word a lot, that you already have. I can think a position looks a certain way from here, but the real picture is what y'all see who are doing it. So I'm more apt to listen to the front lines like that, and then I don't know if that helps anybody.
I have a follow-up. So there is some room for creativity in this position. Do you consider yourself a creative person?
Not to brag, but very. I'm an outside the box kind of guy. I'm one of those guys when they throw puzzles at me and stuff, I can usually see I think that new TV show I saw flipping channels, the Idiot Test or something, it's kind of, they're tricking you. It's a time situation where you're going to get more money if you do it quick. So because you're time crunched, you're going with obvious answers that are wrong. But if you look at it for a second, you can see there's a better answer. When I see creative things or have ideas, all I can do is explore it with some people. Hey, would this work? Would this work? And then share it up. And it goes or it doesn't. And I don't get emotionally invested in the idea. I move on. And if the idea happens like say someday I'm not here and the idea happened and it was awesome, I'm not literally, I knew that would have. I'm just like, oh, you know, all you can do is share it, and that's all you can do. And I would always be open to hear any ideas anybody had to make things better. Obviously, there's constraints on what's available financially and hierarchy-wise, and what the structure is going to be, and what's going to happen with potential someday maybe a merger, or as I've been calling it, an absorption of the other testing center. I don't know what'll happen, but it's exciting to me because it's an opportunity to take what we know and what our needs are and make sure we can move in that direction. If there wasn't any changes going to happen in the future, it'd be harder to push for things we want or need. So these pending changes are an opportunity for growth and improvement. That's the way I look at it, and hopefully it'll be an improvement that everybody likes. And that's all you can do is try to make it the best for everybody. So I know I apologize if I'm long-winded sometimes. When it's first meetings, I'm trying to be transparent and let people really see this is my personality, who I really am. So I'm giving a little extra on some of these answers maybe than just the
No,
quick,
it's
easy
good. It's
answers.
better than short answers.
Shake you up.
You won't be in charge of me.
I believe in working hard, and if we can be a team/family and have fun while we're doing it and smile along the way, it makes it easier. You know, hard work doesn't seem as hard if we're having a little giggle here and there. So.
Anybody else have any questions? Do you have any questions for us? Or have we just picked your brain till you're too tired?
No, I know it's a different world than where I'm at, and that's something I'm excited about. When you started to ask the learning question, the direction I thought you were going to go is what kind of learner am I? What do I prefer? And
I was thinking that too.
I grew up where you sat down and the teacher taught. They maybe used the chalkboard, but probably not, you know. So I could sit and just listen to a straight lecture and be focused, or I could be in, you know, other where I'm doing a PowerPoint and doing other things, or where you get up and have to teach the class yourself. I know one of the classes I took at Butler, the teacher said, all right, we're dividing the book up, and each of you is going to teach each week. And boy, you learn it a lot more when you have to get up in front of everybody. That's for sure. But that's exciting for me. I've always enjoyed learning. I feel like I've learned so many different careers now already, even though most of them have been pretty decent stints, like 9 years, and I'm not really a job hopper. I don't want to be. I had 9 years at one and 7 at the other. Now I just want to get somewhere and be somewhere. I'm kind of kicking myself. I didn't go to Purdue originally. I grew up here, so I didn't want to. It's like, I know Purdue. It's boring. I don't want to go to Purdue. And then I went off to Butler to be a bigger city for a while, and then I went to St. Joseph's College to be with some of my high school friends for a while. And I dropped out. I was like, I'm going to make money. Forget this stuff. I don't need that piece of paper on the wall. I'm going to need some green paper. You know, I was young, and I went out and I worked and made some money, and now I was like, wow, what an asset I had in my backyard, Purdue University. Oh my gosh, they're ranked so high, all these different factors, international students. It's just the middle of the world right here in Lafayette, Indiana, West Lafayette. So
Tell about your little diversity experiment, if you'll let me call it that.
sure, and I did think of one. I said one thing wrong in the story, so now that you brought it up. I've always been in sports. I played a lot of basketball, so I was always at the co-rec over here all the time playing with people, and then we'd make leagues where you'd get in some buddies and you'd make a team. And I got to know a lot of the students at Purdue, and most of the people were just playing from their buddies from high school. But I was like, I want to get some of these Purdue students. And I was getting to know people from all around the world. And so I intentionally, one of my teams, I just went out, I was like, okay, I'm going to get these two guys. They're really good. They're from India. I'm going to get this guy. I said Afghanistan. It was actually Pakistan. And the Pakistani would never ride in a vehicle with the Eastern Indians because he lived near Kashmir or whatever, and these two people were from Punjab, and it's near there, and they didn't care. You know, they were just college kids. They don't care about that. But the Pakistani did. He didn't ever. But on the court, as a team, it was all about. I recruited that guy because he's a good player. He could score, but he was also good at passing and everything else. So on the court, it was awesome. But the only thing is, it was like, I'm not gonna hang out with y'all or nothing. But it was neat to just. I thought I'm just gonna have a great time and learn a little bit about these different cultures, and The really neat story was the two people from Punjab. They didn't know each other was coming here. They went to different high schools. They were rivalry high schools, and they were all stars and played against each other all the time in high school. And they come up and they show up and they see each other in the Purdue co-rec, you know, and it was kind of neat. And so then I was like, well, you guys got to be on team together. Come play on my team, you know. So it was fun for it. But then, you know, people graduate and disappear, and who knows where they are now. So anyway, that was fun. But that's what I've always loved about Purdue. With my dad being in the Army, there was a wide diversity of cultures there, and you get to know the other families in their household. So you see everybody's really the same. We just have some different beliefs and different practices, but we're all people. So I fortunately got that from an early age, being a military brat. So.
Can I ask one more question? Do you have any, you can even talk about, can you tell me a little bit about like your philosophy about people with disabilities, like what your attitude towards them would be, and a little bit, like if you have any experience beyond just work experience, like your own personal experience, you could tell me about that. And I'm just kind of curious about if you have any more experience.
Sure.
If you haven't
I
had a chance to talk about.
I wouldn't think differently in any regards, except for how they've been disserved in the past. Thankfully, things are better now, and there's surely, I'm sure, improvements that probably need to happen, like in any industry or a group of people. But I look at everybody pretty much the same. It sounds really generic. I'm sure there's better lingo to say that, but just try to put others before myself, and other is everybody, and other and everybody is all the same. Whether it's, you know, a homeless person hitting me up on the side of the restaurant or whatever. So I don't have a perspective or a philosophy different, except for, if anything, for maybe how they've been still not up to full treatment properly by everybody, and probably do get mistreated. I'm actually going to go a little extra for this person than I would the normal person. Normal's not the right word, you know what I mean? The non-disabled, I don't know what you can say. So.
And are you willing to learn some of the different accommodations, and if somebody comes up to you and it's, sometimes the students don't know it themselves because the teachers have just given them everything, like in K through 12, and they don't know to ask for things and request for things. And for the most part, accommodation specialists will make all recommendations, and you'll just kind of follow from there. But if somebody comes up to you and they're saying, oh, I need more time on my test or something like that, I guess I'm kind of going off.
That kind of is like a red flag. Would you recognize that as a red flag that, oh, maybe there's a disability there and somebody, you know, needs to check into that further, or maybe we need to refer them someplace, or.
Oh yeah, or like if somebody's, you know, struggling to, they might be like, they might have not wanted to use some of their accommodations. You might see that they're approved for Zoom text or something, but they keep coming in and they're like this with their test or whatever, and you see in their accommodations that they're approved to use like a computer to Zoom things in. Like, is that something you're willing to learn and learn about different accommodations and stuff like that?
And I want to compare this to one thing, much like my experience with international students on campus, who some people get frustrated with their perceived poor English or heavy accent. I've always loved accents, so it's not a problem for me, but I don't feel embarrassed, or I don't care less about them to just not ask them to repeat. I will ask them to repeat. Well, much in the same way in that situation, I would not feel bad about going up to them and saying, hey, I noticed you do have approval for the accommodation for Zoom text. That's something I can get up, snap quick for you real quick. Do you want to use that, or it's not a problem? And see, and then if they're like, no, I just prefer this way, I'm more comfortable this way. But some people may be trying to hide that they feel a stigma, like, I'm already using these accommodations, I don't want to use all of them, I'm trying to do this, you know, and just say, well, this is what you're approved for, and we're trying to make it fair and appropriate for you. So I don't want you to leave something on the table that you could have benefited you. You know, if you came up a little short, you know, I want to make sure we gave you everything you deserve. You know, so I try to come across that way. And then if they still say no, I would respect that, obviously. But
Well, let's take it to a short moment.
Okay. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Good.
Karen will send you an email to get further feedback from you.
Yeah,